Hello, my name is Marcell Vazquez-Chanlatte, a PhD candidate at the University of California, Berkeley. In this RSS 21 Spotlight video, we present Entropy-Guided Reactive Control Improvisation, aka ERCI, a declarative framework for synthesizing randomized control policies for bounded horizon Markov decision processes and stochastic games. In particular, we present a form of declarative controller synthesis where the user provides a specification and a world model, which is then synthesized into a correct by construction controller. Controllers synthesized by ERCI are necessarily randomized and are intended to be deployed in domains where biased controllers are undesirable. Example domains include synthesizing test harnesses that test collision avoidance, patrolling in a manner that is hard for adversaries to predict, and using proxy models for behavior prediction, where a biased predictor may be surprised by otherwise reasonable trajectories. We propose capturing many such domains by formulating them as controlled improvisation problems. In control improvisation, a time-bounded specification is provided with a hard constraint, a soft constraint, and a randomness constraint. Unlike traditional controller synthesis, control improvisation explicitly enforces variety. Prior to this work, control improvisation has been limited to worlds modeled as deterministic two-player games. Our work extends the state-of-the-art in controlled improvisation by supporting arbitrary combinations of probabilistic and adversarial uncertainty, formalized here as stochastic games. In stochastic games, two players called ego and environment, and represented by circles and diamonds here respectively, apply actions in alternating order, causing the state to probabilistically update. Stochastic games extend a number of familiar formalisms, such as two-player games, Markov decision processes, and interval Markov decision processes, where the transition probabilities are given as intervals rather than point values. Such models naturally arise due to scarcity in reliable data or as forms of model compression. Like prior work on control improvisation, we consider time-bounded specifications with three types of constraints. High-level hard constraints, for example, never crash, probability thresholded soft constraints, deliver all packages at least 80% of the time, and randomness constraints. In this work, the randomness constraint is formalized as a threshold on the causal entropy of the controller actions given the state sequence. That is, the sum of the action entropies conditioned on the states seen so far. To synthesize an improviser from a stochastic game, we first pre-process the hard constraint, soft constraint, and stochastic game into a new stochastic game, which is now acyclic. Paths violating the hard constraint have been removed, and sinks marked by win and lose have been introduced for satisfying and not satisfying the soft constraint respectively. Synthesis then reduces to assigning transition probabilities at ego states, potentially in a history-dependent way. In order for the improviser to be correct, it must ensure that the probability of reaching the win state is sufficiently high while attempting to maintain sufficient controller entropy. This trade-off can be visualized in two dimensions, with one axis representing the performance of the soft constraint and the other axis representing the causal entropy. A point in this space is said to be achievable if there is an improviser that guarantees at least the corresponding entropy and winning probability against all environment strategies. In the paper, we prove that this set is downward closed and convex. In the special case of Markov decision processes, we are able to reframe existing literature on maximum entropy control and specification inference to identify points on the Pareto front given a particular optimization direction via a smooth Bellman backup. This enables an efficient algorithm. For stochastic games, we prove that it suffices to consider only entropy matching improvisers, which operate as follows. First, the improviser assumes that the environment will employ an entropy minimizing strategy, reducing the problem to a Markov decision process which we know how to solve. Whenever the environment deviates from the strategy, the improviser assumes that the remaining environment strategy is still going to be entropy minimizing and replans on the new Markov decision process to match the entropy initially assumed. In the paper, we show that by exploiting the convexity, this algorithm can be efficiently implemented by computing Pareto fronts for each node in the stochastic game graph in lexicographic order. We empirically evaluated our algorithm on a series of benchmarks involving synthesizing a test harness for certifying a delivery drone. The drone being tested visits homes in either clockwise or counterclockwise order, with the switching probability known within an interval. The improviser also delivers packages while avoiding the other drone. Not only were we able to synthesize improvisers, we did so while scaling linearly in the game size, which grew asymptotically linearly in the horizon. Code for our prototype implementation and links to these slides can be found at the following URLs. Thanks for watching.